Good morning. Thanks, everybody, for coming. I'm delighted by the opportunity to lead the Department of Transportation and wanted to make sure that we were getting out and about right away because there are so many essential workers in America's transportation system, like the workers you see behind me who we've been speaking with, who we depend on for our economy, for our way of life. And while many Americans are wrestling with the complexities of working from home, many other Americans don't have the opportunity or the option of working from home. And they are supported by these extraordinary workers who look after the safety, the efficiency, the effectiveness of American travel and are doing it right here in the region. I really love being here at Union Station, too. This is a special place. I remember from being here on a school trip when the food court was the most exciting part of this place to coming out of the Red Line station as an intern and walking to work every day when I was a student in college, to all of the many times that I've been able to take journeys through this extraordinary facility. This really is part of the beating heart of the National Capital Region and this entire Mid-Atlantic area. And so I thought it was a fitting place to visit my first time out and about as secretary. As I've often said, we have an opportunity right now to build back better than we ever were before. We are in a moment of need to act and ensure that we are sustaining the basics, but also to go beyond the basics, because this would be a missed opportunity if we simply build back exactly to where we were before. What brought me here today is the opportunity to speak with workers and with leaders from transportation in America. And above all, the biggest thing I have to say to all of the leaders assembled here, VRA, MTA, Mark, Amtrak, WMATA, and the broader field that they represent, is a big thank you to you, to those that you work with and represent, transporting people to critical jobs, making sure that vaccination sites can be reached, providing access to vital community services. And again, the folks that you see here have been on these front lines for many months. As you know, health and safety is the Biden-Harris administration's #1 priority, and therefore also the #1 priority of the Department of Transportation. The science is very clear. Face coverings stop the spread of virus transmission, and science-based measures are essential to preventing and defeating COVID-19. Now, as you've seen, this administration has gotten right to work from day one, with the President acting right away to sign executive actions to promote safety during the COVID-19 public health emergency in both domestic and international travel. There's a CDC order requiring that masks be worn throughout the nation's transportation networks by passengers and workers on transit vehicles and transit facilities. And TSA has issued a security directive implementing that order, stating that it applies to passenger railroads, intercity bus services, and public transportation. Mask wearing, physical distancing, appropriate ventilation, and timely testing can reduce the spread of COVID-19. We also know that the mask requirement will save lives by helping to control the transmission of COVID-19. Let me also mention, as we start to see news stories about variants, one of the best ways to defeat that is to give the virus fewer places to mutate, which is all the more urgency around stopping and slowing the spread. We've got to make sure that public transit, rail, and motor carrier operators can continue to serve in these essential trips, and that those groups, as well as their counterparts in the aviation industry and other parts of U.S. transportation, come through this crisis ready to serve the nation. And now we are supporting additional investment for COVID relief in order to keep workers in their jobs, keep passengers on the rails, and we believe that this is achievable. Amtrak, Transit, and our commuter rail agencies are facing enormous financial shortfalls. They are being asked to work miracles with the resources that they are given in the best of times, and now have faced the enormous challenge of sharp drops in fare box revenue. Now, I just had an opportunity, as I mentioned earlier, to meet with the leaders of Amtrak, WMATA, Mark, and the VRE, and hear firsthand about their needs. And they underscored the importance of these mask requirements, the fantastic work that their employees have been doing in both adhering to and helping to ensure compliance with those mask requirements on the part of the traveling public. We need to support them. We need to make sure as much as possible that we do not put these employees in the position of having to ask or to remind, although they are prepared to ask and to remind when necessary. But let's make it easier for the people who are making it easier for all of us to get around this country and to get through our day. They also have offered thoughts on what it will take to keep their systems running. Again, recognizing the absolutely critical need to provide the funding to sustain the level of service that Americans have become accustomed to, and in the future to go beyond it. They have visions for modernizing their systems, making them safer, more accessible, and expanding their reach to more people and places. This is the moment to deliver for the American people, and building our economy back better than ever means an opportunity to do it with equity, to revitalize communities that have been left behind, especially communities of color that have either been neglected or been disrupted by transportation policy decisions in the past. Now's our chance to get it right. When we do, we are enabling economic growth, we are enabling families to prosper, and we are once again leading the world as America ought to in every dimension of our transportation sector. So the American Rescue Plan is not just what the American people need right now, it's what the American people expect. It is an object of bipartisan agreement, at least among the American people, and it is time for us to get to work. So a big thank you once more to all of the workers and the leadership here today for facilitating essential trips, for deliveries of essential goods and services through the pandemic, and for their dedication to the safety and prosperity of this country and the traveling public. I'm looking forward to having a little bit more of a chance to speak with them now. Thanks very much for joining us. We're giving us a little more time to visit.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quicktake now for insight in an instant.